What's up, everybody? Jack Trailer is live. Do the same thing as we always do. Take a look, see what there is to learn. Maybe start building a little bit of a character move list in our minds. But this robot's got a stance now, so we're going to have to check that out for sure. Let's go. First clip. See a sidestep 2, a jackhammer, and what's a whole brand new stance. Sidestep 2, you can see, is a frame advantage. He does jackhammer, no knockdown on counter hit, but instead he goes into this flex stance. And then he unleashes this big cannon punch with his right hand. Looks like it's probably a high. So here's the frame trap again. You can see King moves, and he gets counter hit. So no knockdown, no follow-up, just a stance with pressure. Gets hit by this and knocks down a mile away. That could be a high too out of stance, so pay attention to that. Another usage of the stance, he does this big ground stomp, which is new, into stance. And that was a homing looking mid one punch out of the stance. And he does the follow up they used to get off a jackhammer, the wind up punch uppercut. Whatever that is, that must maybe replace a sit. Who knows? But it's a stunner on hit. King tries to sidestep and gets clobbered, and then that follow up is free. Just frame version still exists. You can see the blue sparks. Next is a new launcher combo that we see. Down forward 2 with a different extension. This is maybe down forward 2 and then forward 1. Changes it into that instead of another sweep. Goes into that same stance, and there's the same high 2 cannon punch. Only this time it's a screw attack versus airborne opponents. Notice it didn't launch them in the first place. It's only versus screws. So that's kind of cool. You know, counter hits in Tekken 7 cause a screw attack automatically half the time. Big fan of that toning down of some of those properties. So right into the stance and a one-hit screw attack off of the big cannon punch. And then he just runs up and he does forward 1, 2, 2. The string is pretty much the same, except a lot of strings now have that cool cinematic ending. This is a 2-3 string that seems like it's new, and then he power crushes them into the wall and then kind of resplats for a combo. Whatever that is, pretty sure that's new, but King challenges. This is forward 1+2. Might be slightly new animation, but it's a power crush, and it smacks him into the wall, which explodes in this case. So then Jack just does up forward 1, which screw attacks back near the base of the wall, so we can do a wall combo. There is the old back 3-2, but now that also goes into the stance, and he delivers a different kind of 2-punch. It's a different animation. That looks mid, and it's hitting him grounded. That's the real trick here in these wall combos, is that ground slump. So pretty sure that's forward 1+2. New power crush, wall and everything. Most characters seem like they're just going to go for the screw attack here rather than sticking them to the high wall. It's hard to tell. Maybe the wall doesn't exist after that or has different properties. But the same thing. Instead of just back 3-2-2, back 3-2 in a stance with a different 2 follow-up that hits kind of grounded from the looks of it. This one you can see jackhammer again, and you can see the bullshit tracking that it's got. And he does a full combo using his heat crush starter. Look at that. Look how far King is to the side. He still gets hit by jackhammer. Jack goes into the stance, but then he does a move that's forward 3 out of the stance, and that counter hits King, which bounces him a little bit. And that's another new string or modified string, a down forward 1-1 potentially. And then the heat crush that everybody has gets you a free bounce state and enters your heat mode. And then he just ends this combo. There's back 3-2 into stance. Oh, and now there's another uppercut. This is another 1 button. So there's jackhammer into stance. King presses a button here. Counter hit by stance 3. This is probably a new down forward 1-1. You know, a little bit of different animation, screw attack. Then heat crush gives you its own unique bound, which is independent of your other screw attacks in the combo system. And then the old back 3-2, only now we're going into stance. And then we get the wind up punch uppercut out of stance in this case. So there's 2 2s and 2 1 attacks already. So this one is just forward 1+2 as a heat engager and then a follow-up. He blocks, he punishes the move, engages the blue heat mode and runs up with it. And all he does on a King who's able to block, who's ducking, he does forward 2-2 potentially, but there's a just frame blue spark in there. So you might have to follow it up just right to get the big rocket crash. But that's just a forward 2 string with a different kind of animation attached to it. So that looks like that's a punish. That's a 14, 15 frame punish situation. Not a real combo. King is able to block. He just blocks poorly. And forward 2-2. Maybe that's automatic. Who knows? Maybe forward 2-2 just does that every time. But there's a blue spark. So it looks like that's a forward 2 and then tap with just frame. So this is another power crush into heat engage, which you've seen a couple times, and then some new combo variations. The characters are full of them. He does a forward 3, and that goes right into the stance, I guess, that he has this block. Maybe that's one animation. It's kind of hard to really tell. But he does a power crush stance there, and that engages the heat, and he runs up into raw stance. Now, this is showing us that he's got, looks like complete invulnerability during heat when he's in the stance. And then he just waits that out and then hits him with a follow-up for a launcher and then screw attack from there. So there's actually kind of a lot that goes on in this one. So it starts with this forward 3. That's the stance. And he goes into something, a parry out of stance that also engages heat. So now he runs up and he does the stance again, just raw stance. But now you can see he's got super armor. And then boom, there's that homing mid 1 we saw in the first clip. Only now as a counter hit, it causes a screw attack. And then he does 1 + 2, 2. And that causes another screw attack. Like that first one has to be a different animation, I guess. It's hard to say. And then it just ends with back 2, the good old fashioned back 2. So that's a curious point. Here we see the back 2 again to open up. He's already in heat and you get different properties. Since he's in heat, when you activate Engager, you get a whole combo as he does here. So he does forward 1, 2, 1, which now has the big uppercut spinny version of it and causes a screw attack. And then guess what he ends a combo with? Back 3, 2 into stance. And now there's a great big 4 boot out of the stance. So we've already seen 6 moves and potentially a parry. So back 2 as a heat engager is actually really good. I like that choice a lot. But if he's already in heat, you get a whole combo from it. So he runs up. String we've already seen. Forward, we saw forward 1, 2, 2 to end a combo. Forward 1, 2, 1 has screw attack properties. And then back 3, 2 is as universal as ever. Back 3, 2 in its stance. And this time he chooses to end it with a 4. And the last one, all we see is a big launcher into Rage Art. This one is a pretty sick Rage Art. Maybe a bit over the top for historical Tekken purists, but I don't know, giant murder robot with a railgun. I'm a fan. So that's pretty much it. A new and improved Ultra Kill Mode Jack. He's got a stance now, a full-fledged stance that's kind of reminiscent of Gigas' Golem stance, and we've seen 6 moves out of it. All this stuff will be listed down below. If you have any other insights or thoughts or something that I missed, just feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Until then, be sure to click the subscribe and the notification button to see more videos like this, and we'll catch you next time. Later.